You're listening to Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier podcast on the air since 1981.
And now, here's your host.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner. To Israel we go. Hanukkah in the Holy Land. Wow, what a wonderful place to be. But unfortunately, a lot of Israelis live below the poverty line and not really enjoying it as much as they could be or they are with the help of groups such as Meir Panim. And with us right now, once again, is Mimi Rozmaryn, the Director of Global Development for Meir Panim Relief Centers, and Rena Ben-Ezra joined as Director of Special Projects. Happy Hanukkah. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us. It's good to be back.
Happy Hanukkah. You know, I was just telling Mimi off the air that I've been to Israel many times, but never been there for Hanukkah. From what I understand, it's a beautiful, beautiful experience, beautiful sights to see all the menorahs lighting up all over the country, even people who do not necessarily observe Hanukkah.
Absolutely. It is just, you feel it in the air. And I feel like it's these times of year where we are living the Torah and we're living our traditions. And it's just incredible. And it's electric everywhere you go. People just feel light and happy. And there's a tremendous amount of traffic on the road around 4 o'clock, everyone racing home from work to get home for candle lighting. And it's really, really special.
No, Hanukkah is a very happy, very special time of year. But unfortunately, there are plenty of people in Israel, whether it's due to the pandemic, whether due to inflation, could be lots of other issues, that are not able to celebrate the Hanukkah pride. Now, it's not like Pesach where you need the whole bunch of, special food. So you do need you need latkes and sufganiyot. In Israel, it's more the donuts than the latkes, I guess.
Yeah.
But they need assistance during Hanukkah during this time of year. So tell us about Hanukkah at Meir Panim.
Sure. I would say that our goal here, especially during Hanukkah, is to help our patrons and our community members be able to feel the joy and the celebration of the season, and to give them the opportunity to escape from some of the challenges that they're facing in their life. So, Zev, as you mentioned, inflation and financial challenges. A recent report showed that 28.3% of Israeli households are now living where their expenses exceed their income. And these are families that are working, families that have two working parents, but just are having a really difficult time making ends meet. So for these families in particular, we feel the responsibility to help give them the bump so they can have the joy and the celebration, and really to liven up their Hanukkah, especially during this time of joy.
Now, I would assume, I know this is true in the United States, and I'm sure it's true in Israel, that when you have volunteers come and you give food, but also toys to the children, to the families, it may not be and it may not be as costly as a pound of matzah and the other stuff, but it makes a significant difference where it makes them feel joyful despite their circumstances.
Absolutely. And one thing that I've loved about since we've moved to Israel, my family in particular, is that Hanukkah presents aren't really the thing here. I feel like we're not really competing with Christmas. None of the holiday and the joy is really about the sufganiyot and the chocolate coins and being together and sharing memories. And that is something that is easier for us at Meir Panim to give to our patrons, to get the fancier sufganiyot, to give little packages of chocolate coins of the dreidels and little menorahs and gelt, so that our patrons and our patrons' families can really have a Chag Sameach. And it's less about the presents in this country, which is really special, and more about things that are easier as Meir Panim, an organization focused on food, to give to our patrons and to really make the holiday happen for our communities.
Mimi, am I to glean from what you're saying that you're giving out sufganiyot, donuts, but no latkes? Is that not the same in Israel? Forget the question. What about the latkes? I keep hearing donuts.
You know what? I have to say, since one of the things I've observed since I've moved here is this holiday in this country is all about the sufganiyot, and latkes really get the backseat.
Okay, maybe we have to revolutionize Israel, bring more Americans to Israel to bring the latkes, because to me, I know I like Sufganiyot, but the latkes
Yes.
supreme during this holiday, Hanukkah season.
I never handmade homemade latkes until we moved to Israel 5 years ago because I would always just buy them. But it's really not a thing that is available for purchase here. So there was no alternative. And, I'm grating potatoes like the rest of the Yiddish mamas nowadays.
Let me turn to Rena. You're here in New York, and you're helping overseeing the Meir Panim operations, and it's in Israel, but of course there's a support here in the United States. Do we have any idea about how many Israelis are affected by whether it's inflation, the pandemic, the rising costs, unemployment, and how they're being helped by Meir Panim?
Yeah, so I think especially as Americans who support Israel and care for Israel, we oftentimes have this like really fond perception of Israel, which is true, and Israel is great. But I think sometimes we kind of forget the day-to-day reality and how many people in Israel actually can't afford basic needs. So it's great to be able to kind of share the other side of things with the American audience who really does love Israel and wants to support it. So it's actually crazy. A lot of statistics are coming out now, as the year ends and things like that. And I was looking at a recent report and I was shocked to see that since 2021, poverty has actually gone up. Now there's more than 2.6 million Israelis living in poverty compared to the end of 2021, where there were about 2.5 million. And it's crazy because as someone who receives lots of updates from Mimi and is kind of, in the know, I know that we see this in our branches, but to kind of read it and actually see it on paper was really shocking, especially because, it's easy to think the peak of COVID has passed and, in some ways, unemployment has gotten better and things like that. But then it's you read it on paper and you're like, wow, the economic ramifications of all of this have really just, destroyed people. And like Mimi said, hardworking people who, are working and doing what they can. And it's just not enough, after COVID. And now with the rise of inflation, it's hitting people really hard.
I'm shocked by the number you gave. 2.6 million Israelis.
Yeah, and Israel, it's not as big as America. That's equal to 27.8% of the population. That is a significant number.
So Meir Panim is making a dent, but there's no way that you can cover 2.6 million people. How many people are actually being helped by Meir Panim?
We are feeding thousands of people every day. And again, we would love to expand our operations and help as many people as possible. We have a policy of not turning anyone away. So the more people can know about us, the more funds we can receive, the more people we can help, which is ultimately our goal, because there shouldn't be 27.8% of the population in Israel living in poverty.
That's a shocking number. And we get to Hanukkah time and we're joyous and people need joy. And this time of year, you need more light because people, I think, are more depressed during this winter. And at least in America, not as cold in Israel, even though that's cold in Jerusalem. I remember snowing when I was in Jerusalem. Yeah. But the point is, this is a shocking number. And whatever your Meir Panim is doing is making a dent, but it's certainly a lot of work yet to be done. So talk to me prices, numbers, because inflation has gone up. I know in America, the price of food has skyrocketed. I know in Israel it's been the same. So how does that affect Meir Panim when the prices go up?
It absolutely affects us, especially since studies have shown in the last year, the average cost of a family to purchase a cart of groceries has gone up about 15 to 20%. So that affects us, Zev, on both sides. First, we see more families that are needing our assistance because they can no longer afford their monthly food expenses. And at the same time, because we're a food organization as our primary objective, we're spending more money purchasing staple products and food to cook for our growing number of people coming to us in need. So we're really getting hit hard financially. And so more than ever, people's donations are critically important to us, as we're 100% funded through donations. We get no government support. And as Rena said, the more people are able to provide and give tzedakah and open their hearts and open their wallets, the more we're able to provide to our communities in need. One really special thing about Meir Panim is 86% of each dollar donated goes directly to food and our patrons. So we have a really lean staff in Israel. We keep our overhead really low so that we can provide as much as possible to the people that are coming to us every day in need.
So here's the thing. Money it becomes tighter in Israel because of inflation, rising costs, but also in America, the United States has the same situation. So here your costs are rising in Israel. The same basket of eggs or whatever the basic staples are cost significantly more than it did a short time ago. And in America, the same thing, which means that some people have less money to even give to charity. So how has that affected Meir Panim, the fact that not only the high prices in Israel, but people are affected here, they may not have as disposable income to give as much charity as they would like to give or want to give?
So we definitely, we're fortunate enough that I think that our community definitely understands and responds to the need. We definitely do feel it though. I receive emails at least several times a week from people who receive our emails, receive our messages, and say like how touched they are, but that they themselves are not in a position to give. And, you know, we understand that times are tough. I think one thing that I love about what I do and the position that I'm in is that it really allows for a lot of perspective, because like you said, like times are tough right now. Everyone is, you know, hit in some way. Groceries are expensive. Things are expensive. Inflation has been crazy in Israel and the US. But I think sometimes the perspective of like, as you know, as much as it is more difficult for me to also buy groceries, and as much as, you know, my bills have gone up and it's a hard pill to swallow, it's sometimes good to have that perspective of like, well, you know, let me keep in mind the people who can't afford any groceries, or, you know, can't feed their families at all, or, you know, it's tough all around. But I think sometimes that perspective and knowing that no matter what you can give, even if it's $10, $5, it really does make a big difference, and, you know, help someone else who might need it even a little bit more.
I think now is a good time to let people know how they can help Meir Panim here in the States, anybody that's listening or watching to our broadcast. So let's give out the information where people can give whatever amount they can to help Meir Panim Hanukkah year-round. Meir Panim doesn't just operate during holiday time. They're providing the needy on a day-to-day basis, 365 days a year. Let's give out the information.
Absolutely. So you can call our phone number, which is 877-7-DONATE or 877-736-6283. And you can also go online and donate at mpdonate.org.
Let's give it one more time.
That's mpdonate.org or 877-7-DONATE.
We're speaking with Mimi Rozmaryn. She's Director of Global Development for Meir Panim Relief Centers. She's based in Israel. And we're speaking to Rena Ben-Ezra here in the States, Director of Special Projects for Meir Panim. Mimi, we've been focusing on the food, and Meir Panim is running, you know, soup kitchens and giving out food to the needy. But Meir Panim, as we said on many occasions, is a lot more than just distributing and giving out food. Let's just focus for a few minutes on some of the other activity Meir Panim does to help people that need assistance in Israel.
Absolutely. I was just actually sharing with our team yesterday a few things that we've been doing, especially this Hanukkah, to help not only with the immediate needs of our communities, but also to help break the cycle of poverty in this country. Because as much as our core, as you've said, is really helping feed people, we really feel that in order to break the cycle of poverty, we want to help people get on their feet. So I think there's a few things that we're doing. The first thing that we do is our ethos of giving to people with dignity and respect in order for them to feel whole and confident in their lives so that they can go out and look for that better job or look for that job feeling like they're a part of a family and they're taken care of. And that's an ethos, that's something that everyone that comes into our doors can feel. And in addition to that, of course, we have special programming. I want to highlight our project in Sderot, which is a program that works with teens at risk. And in Sderot, a city on the Gaza border, up to 75% of the community has effects of PTSD from the constant rockets and lockdowns that they've had to endure because of where they live. And what we do in Sderot is we offer therapeutic workshops where teens can come together. And this year we're doing focused on woodworking as a means of art therapy to help these teens process the experience they're having through creativity with trained people who are there to help them manage their stress level and support them in their growth. So that is an incredible way that we're preparing our teens to step into a life of success and feeling good about themselves and being able to overcome some of the challenges that they have been faced way too early in their lives.
I know you also help Holocaust survivors. First of all, do we have any statistics as how many Holocaust survivors are in Israel? And unfortunately, it's a diminishing number every year. But do we have any statistics on what exactly is being done to help them?
Absolutely. So Israel has the largest concentration of Holocaust survivors in the world. And unfortunately, we saw in that recent report that Rena mentioned, up to 75% of senior citizens in Israel are living on or below the poverty line. So we know that's the case for our Holocaust survivors as well, which is why in 2018, we launched a daycare program in our Dimona Center to assist and to serve as a second home for 40 Holocaust survivors in that area. And it was actually really fun. They went out yesterday to a coffee shop. We took them on a field trip, and they had, of course, a special sufganiyot and just coffee at a local cafe. And they were singing and dancing, dancing to, simcha dancing music. It was really just a delight to watch them and to give them that experience. Especially given their age, it's harder for them to get out and to have these kind of fun extra experiences. So it's something that we were really delighted to be able to provide to them for Hanukkah.
And I would assume Hanukkah is a time where people want to feel joyous. So even giving a little bit makes a difference.
Absolutely. A change of scenery. They loved it.
Now, you mentioned before that Meir Panim, which does so much aside just from food and helping out in so many different ways, doesn't get any government assistance. An idea, because with rising costs, so the same food that may have cost X amount last time causes so much more this time around. So what's being done? What kind of numbers are we talking about that we prior and now? So you have to raise this more money to cover the same. And I'm sure more people knocking on your doors right now.
Absolutely. We're raising and we're requiring about $100,000 extra dollars a month compared to 2 years ago. So over the course of a year, it is quite an expansion of our budget. And that's considering both the rising costs of food and the increased number of people that are coming to us for help.
Wow. So there's a lot that you have to be doing, and you're looking to, you have to spend lots of time just telling people to help out because the cause is necessary and needy. So many people knocking down the doors, and holiday time is especially acute. And that's why I think Meir Panim becomes more visible to American audiences during holiday time, because as people are having a good time here, we say, don't forget about brothers and sisters in Israel, especially those in poverty. And the numbers are, and you see even the little kids that are starving, that go to, I hear stories all the time of kids going to school, not getting fed at home. And the only meals they have is what they're having in school. It's a shame, but unfortunately, it's the reality.
Absolutely. And I think part of that, Zev, is why at many of our branches, we offer an after-school program. As I said before with us together, Israeli public school finishes the day at 1:30, and they don't provide lunch at school. So for these kids, first, second, third grade, they are out of luck starting at 1:30 with no place to go and no one to take care of them. So at many of our branches, we have an after-school program where the kids come in, they have a hot lunch, they get help with their homework, they have a safe place to be instead of risky behaviors or being home alone, just watching the TV without anyone checking in on them. And that's something we're incredibly proud and honored to be able to do for Israel's youth.
Why does school end at 1 o'clock?
Excellent question.
In the United States, I mean, it's at least 3 o'clock in the public schools, and the yeshiva is
Yes.
obviously a lot longer. But 1 o'clock seems a little early time. What time do they start school in the morning?
They start at 8.
That's same as in America, okay? And they finish,
1:30. Primary school ends at
Can't we speak
1:30.
to the elected officials in the Knesset to maybe change that? That would help a lot of parents. I think would be happy to have the kids 2 extra hours in school.
Amen.
Okay, that's one of the things, but that's not Meir Panim's domain.
I mean, it isn't, but at the same time, it is, because we're seeing, one of the ways that we can help break the cycle of poverty is really be a safe, wonderful, warm place for kids to go in the afternoon. There are many schools that offer private aftercare programs that are until 4 p.m. Until 3rd or 4th grade, and communities offer chugim, after school activities, but all of those options are private. So families that are struggling to pay their rent or electricity bills certainly don't have the ability to have their kid in private aftercare.
Now, do you also pay electricity bills, rent, and some of the other expenses that one may have that may not be afford to pay them?
In general, we're not able to do that at this point. What we are able to do for our patrons is a couple things. One is if we know they're really in trouble and then someone that's having a really hard month, we're able to connect them with different community resources. We have many connections with the welfare ministry, with social services, because they send us so many people that need meals. I think when we have someone that's really in crisis, we're able to help get them as well connected as they can. And we also have grocery shopping cards, which we distribute really around the time of the holidays en masse, but as needed. When people come in and they really are having trouble making ends meet, we're able to supplement on a case-by-case basis.
When you say the grocery card, you mean you give them, it's like a credit card where they can go to grocery and buy items that they need. So it's respectable. Nobody knows that they're being subsidized by a charity, and they're able to go and buy with dignity whatever they need to buy for the holiday.
Exactly. So we distribute en masse grocery shopping cards before Rosh Hashanah and before Pesach. And our branch managers have some at their discretion if they know someone is truly in need during other times of year.
Can you come up with a latke card where they buy latke? Maybe we can spur a new industry. Distributing donuts.
If anyone wants to create a business where they're cooking latkes, I will be their first customer, b'simcha.
I'm sure there must be a
market in Israel for it.
Yes.
We got to do something in Israel about it. We got to. Maybe Meir Panim should be giving out latkes together with the donuts when they give out.
I hate frying the latkes. Your house smells like oil for days. I just really want to buy that.
So, I say that half in jest, but the point is, though,
Yes.
I guess one of the changes when if you move to Israel, you'll miss some of the latke traditions.
Absolutely.
That Israeli culture.
You got to make it yourself around here. There's no easy way out.
All right, we got to talk about doing something to change. But one thing, unfortunately, is steady, and that is the poverty in Israel. And Rena, you gave us a number of 2.6 million Israelis below the poverty line. I'm sure there must be other Israelis that are close to the poverty line that don't reach that. So the numbers probably would go up if you look at people that are skirting that line.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, in the same poverty report that I read, it gave a statistic that not only are all those people living in poverty, but compared to 2021, there's now 20.1% of Israeli households are getting close to poverty compared to in 2021 when it was 14%. So not only do we have this like imminent like issue of those currently in poverty, but then there's a whole separate group of people who are just on the verge that, you know, with inflation and everything and the way the economy has been, like, who knows, they could be part of the problem too soon. So it's a cycle and we're trying to break it.
So correct me if I'm wrong. We spoke about people going to Meir Panim for assistance, and I've been assuming that it's people that are below the poverty line. But from what you're saying, I'm sure there may be people knocking on your doors that are close to the poverty line. Maybe they got crossed it officially, unofficially they can't make ends meet. So the numbers of people that you service are potentially larger, and I'm sure more people. Would I be correct in assuming more people knocking down your door than ever before?
Absolutely.
Wow. So let's give out the information. And we're looking at Meir Panim. They do amazing work in Israel. They are more than just providing food. And food, of course, is a basic staple of life. And everybody needs it. And prices are going up. But yet that hasn't affected the quality or the amount that they're giving to their people that need it. But Meir Panim is also relief centers and does so much more, as we've outlined. If people want to help, and I urge you, if you're enjoying Hanukkah, listening to this broadcast, maybe take some time and give out and help those in Israel that are below the poverty line or close to the poverty line that need special help, especially during this holiday season. Let's give out the information one more time.
So someone can call on the phone. Our number is 877-7-DONATE, which is 877-736-6283. Or you can go online to mpdonate.org. That's mpdonate.org. Like Zev said, you can help bring joy to a family this Hanukkah or, you know, year round, and every contribution really makes a big difference.
No, and listen, thank you for the work that you're doing. It's making a difference. And if only one person has helped, you're doing a big mitzvah. And if thousands upon thousands of people are being assisted, it's even greater. Each person that's saved, it's a whole world that's being helped. So thank you for what you do. So Mimi Rozmaryn, Director of Global Development, Meir Panim Relief Centers, and Rena Ben-Ezra, Director of Special Projects for Meir Panim. Thank you for being here with us, and Hanukkah Sameach.
Thanks,
Sameach.
And by the way, last question: are you eating latkes, Mimi, in Israel? Are you making them?
I will. I haven't done it yet, to my children's dismay.
Rena, what about your States? Probably more
Not yet, but it's on the agenda for this weekend. So we will definitely be having.
All right, no problem. Just want to make sure, because we got to change the culture. And Meir Panim, saying that Meir Panim should be the leader in getting that done in Israel.
Zev, if next year you come to Israel for Hanukkah, we will cook latkes together in one of our branches. B'simcha.
I'm not sure how well I do in the cooking department. In the eating department, latkes, I'm very good.
Okay, done.
And Hanukkah Sameach.
Hanukkah.
This was a special program about Meir Panim in Israel.
Thank you for tuning in to Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast, the pulse beat of the Jewish community.
For continuous Jewish programs, TalklineNetwork.com, or our 24-hour-a-day listen line at 641-741-0389. For past shows, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Instagram, and all major podcast platforms, or jewishpodcast.org. Thanks for listening to the TalklineNetwork.com.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.